to our round of lunch, what's so special about special libraries. I am Katie, I'm the president of SLA here at Simmons. Eliana is our vice president, and Jim is our faculty advisor. So this is an informal lunch just to learn more about special libraries. So we have a panel of students who have worked in special libraries here to tell you a little bit about their experience, and then also to answer questions. We do have a sign-up sheet going around. I forgot to pass that out earlier, so if you could just sign your name saying that you were here and return my pen. That would be your pen's here to say. Okay, thank you. That would be fantastic. So with that, I will let our panelists introduce themselves and tell you what special library they either currently work in or have worked in.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Anna. I'm in my second year here, so I'll be graduating in May. And I currently work at Draper. It's formerly Draper Laboratory, but now it's just Draper. So they are an independent nonprofit research and development company, and they primarily work with government contracts, but they're branching out now. And they have about like 1,500 employees and a smaller library. I think there's roughly about 10 of us, and that includes a records manager and some shared members. So.
And Anna is the LISA student president.
Yes, thank you.
Can you all hear her?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Cool, I'm Eliana. I'm in my second year too. I'm also hoping to graduate in May. I was working at America's Test Kitchen, which has a library of over 4,000 cookbooks, and I was a solo librarian. Solo librarian is actually a division of SLA, so if you want to work by yourself, you can do that. Right now I work at Wheatley Library, and I'm also a graduate student assistant, and I'm interested in museums and special collections, which is part of SLA through the Museum, Arts, and Humanities Division. So if you're interested in that, then I will talk about that.
That's cool.
Ileana was also a program for SLA's Special Libraries Association. People could visit America's Test Kitchen and obviously had to talk to her since she's a solo. Did you have a lot of people come?
It was a good amount of people. It was a tour. They first went to the Julia Child collection at the Schlesinger Library, and then they came to America's Test Kitchen. So it was all people interested in sort of culinary stuff. Maybe like 20, 25 people, I want to say.
I'm sorry?
25 people came to that tour, so it's definitely a thing that people are interested in. So I know some people here are interested in culinary archives, so we can talk about that.
Do you get samples? I mean, all that stuff?
Not that often.
Okay. I thought I'd ask because everybody must be thinking.
It's an important question, yeah.
So SLA Annual, the conference was here in Boston this past June, and it'll be in Philadelphia this coming year. So that's why we have the tour of the library.
I am Catherine. I currently am completing an internship at the Boston Athenaeum, which is a private historical membership library. It began as a literary society in 1807, and so they've been in a historical building since 1851, hosting George Washington's collection, other historical collections, and it is one of the few remaining membership libraries in the country.
Is there a specific collections? Are there, the Anthony sounds like would be old, oaky.
We do have corners that are that, but we do have up on the 5th floor. It's very light and airy, but we do have extensive like local history, historical collections to the founding of Boston, other areas specific to Massachusetts. We have a collection from King's Chapel that was donated from the King in England, King's Chapel Church in 1629. So it's kind of a mixture of historical collections, but also usable books that people can check out and print out.
And do you have a children's librarian too?
We do. We have a children's librarian with story time and language
Is there
club.
programming for children at the Anthony?
There is. Yes, it is. With Suzanne Terry is the librarian.
So the public is invited?
No, public can come and tour the first floor, but membership extends, then you have access to the rest of the entire building as well as the electronic resources. But the public, you have to join in order to.
So it's a subscription library?
It is.
Pay annually?
It is a membership that you do pay annually.
Is there a lot of money to go on?
We do have a young patron membership for individuals under 35. which is $200 for the year, which sounds like a lot, but compared to your Netflix subscription, it just kind of depends on where you want to put your money. Or we do have a young patron family membership, which is 2 adults under 35, and then any children, of course, would be covered under those adults, which is $225. So if there's 2 of you, that's not much more different.
Is it a big staff?
We have about, oh my goodness, I'm gonna guess about 30. Just pulling that number out of my head, so don't quote me on that. But so it's not large, but it's not like a solo librarian also. So
Hi, I'm Carrie. I am also in my second year at Simmons. I'm going to graduate in May. And Kathy as well.
I didn't say that.
And I'm currently working, and I have been through the summer, working at a tech startup called Binder. And we're a digital asset management software company. So the sales team attempts to sell to large enterprise clients or small and medium-sized businesses who need digital asset management for their marketing resources. And I work with the implementation team on the other side of it to actually build it out in the system. So taxonomy and metadata is my life, are my life. So I love it there. Also in the summer, I was at WGBH 1 day a week in the Media Library and Archives. And I was cataloging the American Archive of Public Broadcasting. So it was a lot of digital audio and video material, audio visual material. And we were using PV Core as the metadata schema. So that was a fantastic experience as well. And both experiences has sort of helped me pursue my interest in digital stewardship, though I have a strong interest in museums as well.
So, what drew you to special libraries? Sure. Okay, sure. I had never really envisioned myself in a corporate library. But so when I saw the job description at Draper, I noticed that it really matched my skills, and I just applied for it, and then I ended up getting the job. And I've met some really great people there, so really just the job line is a good resource. But that's kind of it.
Yeah, I figured out that I was interested in special libraries because I worked at America's Test Kitchen. I didn't know it was a special library until I learned what a special library was. And then I kind of realized that almost anything can be a special library, including academic libraries with specialized collections. So after realizing that I really liked working with a specialized collection and the researchers who wanted to really get to know the specialized collection, I kind of realized that this is what I wanted to be involved in terms of all kinds of special libraries. So it was also through Jobline. So definitely check Jobline.
Yeah, I was pretty much the same as like, okay, I need a job, find a job, and then you're like, okay, what am I doing now? But so I went to SLA this summer and found out so many more types of libraries that I never knew existed. But one of the areas that I am interested in possibly pursuing in the future is military libraries, which, as I found out, is kind of a whole umbrella unto itself underneath special libraries, because under military libraries you can have academic libraries, you can have public libraries that are like for the members of the military who are living on post. You can have like a special collection for something else. So that's one area that I wasn't aware of, that I found out about, so I'm going to kind of look more into that in the near future.
Yeah, Jobline for me as well was the beacon for everything. But yeah, I had a more traditional background in museums and archives, especially through college. So I wanted to try a non-traditional experience, which lends itself to special libraries. And that's how I ended up at the tech company, which was like a weird experience to begin with, but it's been awesome. So I think one of the things with special libraries is to not limit yourself. You can really find a neat niche for yourself if you just kind of look and apply to almost anything.
So, would you have any advice for someone who's considering special libraries, particularly students who might be
geared more towards archives or public or academic. We're kind of geared towards the more traditional library. Does that make sense?
I can start. Kind of going off of what you said, we have a postcard with a list of all the divisions, and I think that speaks for itself in terms of not limiting yourself. I mean, I am more interested in the museum library sector, but I mean, in corporations and nonprofits and I don't know, weird little companies that you've never heard of, there might be a library that actually speaks to your skill set and interests. So in terms of not limiting yourself and being open and searching for things and going out and looking, and going to the SLA conference is a great way to do that, because there are a lot of people who represent things you might never have heard of before. I can't even say what they are because I've probably never heard of them either. So, I mean, even doing research, which is what we're all really good at. So looking for different kinds of archives, looking for different kinds of colleges where there might be a specialized collection that you connect with.
I would say also it's kind of an obvious connection to draw, but since there are specialized libraries in, like, say, maths and the sciences and things like that, obviously if that's an area you're interested in, pursue educating yourself more in those specific areas. You don't have to be a subject specialist to work in certain libraries. A lot of people I've spoken with, they're like, I didn't really know much about it until I started working there, and then I started like studying and taking classes. But it can't hurt. It can only help you to have a little bit stronger knowledge of an area that you're going to work with.
I agree. Yeah, that being said, I guess it's also important to sort of remember that like any skills that you do have or that you're gaining, they're all applicable somehow. So you really have to milk them for what they're worth. And also if you're not sure that you want to be in a certain place that you see, like a certain special library or even traditional, not special library sort of environment, you can always move from it to other things. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's not like any specific special library skills necessarily that you can kind of utilize any that you have and then move from there. So I just, again, the importance I think is not on limiting.
Yeah, and experimenting. Like
Yeah.
internships are a really good way to experiment
Right.
because they only last a short period of time. So you can try it out and be like, this is working and this is not working.
Yeah. Right.
And I wouldn't limit yourself based on your subject knowledge either, because definitely you can pick it up on the job. When I went to Draper, which is an engineering research and development company, I mean, I don't really like engineering, but you definitely pick up what your clients, your patients need, and the librarians working with you, if you're not a solo librarian, will be a great resource for you as well, but chances are they came in the same boat. So, and a more piece of practical advice, I have been involved in hiring student workers particularly, but we're going through, Draper is now opening up a position for an experienced information specialist, so 7+ years of experience. Fortunately, I think that excludes most of us. But I would just ensure that your resume and your cover letter, I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but I really can't stress enough how they need to be polished and up to date and no spelling errors. You think I shouldn't have to say this, but I do. So just make sure that those are top notch. I would even recommend seeing if you have someone at your current job or even one of your professors look them over in detail and give you some critiques.
Yeah, with that, I credit a lot of what I was able to do this summer with going to the SLA resume event in the spring. And there you can meet all sorts of people who might either be willing to offer you a job or a volunteer position, but they're professionals in the field who will look at your resume. And I met with 4 different people, and they all gave really good advice and constructive criticism, sort of saying, you know, focus on this, talk about this more, take this out. So, SLA resume event is really awesome.
In terms of that, we've kind of talked about this with resumes and cover letters, because there are so many different types of special libraries, you kind of have to really make sure you're gearing towards that type. We've talked about how business resumes, you know about this the top has to be really great, because they're probably not gonna read the rest of it, right? No?
Yeah, that's true a lot.
Yeah.
Checking.
So I mean, talking to like a specialist in this field and making sure that you guys probably.
I want everybody to meet Emily Codiga. Emily is the co-advisor to the Simmons SLA student group. She's currently at the Harvard Business School. Before that, she was at PricewaterhouseCoopers, and I think she was a student worker at PricewaterhouseCoopers while she was a student here. So she could tell you something about special library. 25% of SLA members are in academic libraries. So it's not unusual. They're not all in corporates or foundations. The 25% are academics, and Emily's one of the academics.
In a former corporate.
Yeah.
Retreated to academia.
So that's what we're trying to figure out what's so special about special libraries.
So, is there anything that you have gained from being a member of SLA? Either in a conference or one of the events that you had here at Simmons, is there anything that you have enjoyed? The resume event. We have a resume X event, we have it in the fall and the spring, so that'll probably be in November. But it's a speed dating style resume event where you bring your resume and you go from professional to professional, and they will critique your resume and give you suggestions on how to improve and maybe some different words you can be using, like the power words, different things. So look for that. But anything else? And this is Chris. She is our webmaster. Chris works at Bain, which is a consulting firm.
Yep, they're the top consulting. People use the word networking a lot, and yeah, that word used to be really scary to me until I realized that what networking means is mostly talking to people about what they do, which is amazing in special libraries because, as you can see, people do really varied things. So especially at the SLA annual conference, even just chatting with people and hearing about their backgrounds and what they do is really interesting because you sort of realize, like, I don't have to do this track that I was planning for myself. I can do more of a sort of squiggly journey into more of, I don't know, whatever you want to do.
That's what I was trying to articulate before,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's like, I don't know, it's a path.
Yeah.
But I think networking doesn't have to be a scary word. It can just mean meeting people, and even just meeting other students also is probably one of the best things I've gained from SLA.
Being able to go to the conference for free. And so Eliana and I both got scholarships to attend. And they're out there and there are lots of them. And my boss at the time was the one who had organized the scholarship, and she said that there were like no people that applied besides us and another person. So why?
Yeah, SLA makes a lot of efforts to bring in students and also professionals. Like, they want you to come, they want you to be involved, so, yeah.
Yeah, it is a good experience.
Yeah.
I know, I was trying to think, I mean, the networking, like just, yes, like Eliana said, just speaking with the professionals and learning like kind of like the tracks that they took and about how they didn't necessarily all stay in one track and hop around. But yes, it used to be so terrifying to me, but just, it's good, it was good practice. Just go and be like, okay, this person, I'll never see them again, so if I fall on my face, it's all right. But I was able to make a lot of really good contacts that I'm connected with on LinkedIn now, and people that are like willing to help, and they kept stressing, they're like, librarians love to help other librarians. So definitely there are people that I plan to like email in the future about to ask for advice or different ideas about places to apply and how to do that.
And going to events if you can, as well as the conference, and also just being aware and active in class can again help you to network. Like at the resume event, I met a librarian at the Museum of Comparative Zoology at Harvard, and I have an background in biology, so we were kind of able to connect in like the 5 minutes that we were talking, and from there I was actually able to visit her at the museum, and she showed me around the library there, and it was just like a neat way to make a contact, and it's just a really nice thing. And make sure you follow up as well with emails and thank yous to to keep that contact alive. But also in class, Simmons does a fantastic job of offering ways to speak to people in the field, interview, and write, essays and things, and present on your interviews with people. They obviously have very specific topics and prompts, but that's another great way to network, and that's a great way to find out what people are doing in the area, and they tend to be really things that go under the radar, and so you can see what those are and that they exist.
You might hear this again, but I've heard a lot of people who are already in the field say that librarians are some of the most helpful professionals who really want to help the next generation of information professionals. They really want to reach out. So never be scared of a librarian. They just want to help you. They're just yeah.
Any classes you would recommend geared towards special libraries, or just that you would recommend?
Yeah.
So Jim teaches the organization and management of corporate libraries, which is a fantastic class if you're interested in business corporate libraries. I know you're teaching it this fall and then often teach it over spring break.
Teaching it Monday mornings this fall,
Yep.
then over 2 weekends at Mount Holyoke, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Saturday, Sunday. And then at spring break,
Okay.
another 1-week class, so you'd have me all day for 5 days.
So that class is great.
Get some work experience while you're here. Right now, there's a healthcare vacancy in the suburbs, and Tufts University's business school is looking for somebody for 6 hours a week in 3-hour segments, and it's paid. Posted on my bulletin board just outside L402A. Hiya, Claire.
Okay.
There are a bunch of other internships. It seems to me you could stop studying for 6 hours of basic work experience. Work at the business school at Tufts.
Go to Jim's bulletin board outside your bulletin
Oh.
board. That's like a meadow of job openings. It's what do you want to say about that?
I'm sorry?
You want to just say that about the job
I have
postings?
hundreds of vacancies posted. There is no shortage of vacancies. There's a shortage of probably where you will work. But the federal government has lots of vacancies and they pay extremely well. Lots of academic library vacancies are posted, lots of special library vacancies are posted. Room 204A. I took over the whole wall. Actually, I could put more jobs up, but I don't have any more space to put them up. So you should take a look and see if you find something you did like. After you, while you're here, you should do some kind of work, get some kind of work experience. Vary it too, because you can, while you're a student, you can work anywhere you want. So if you bounce around, people won't think you're crazy if you're a student. Afterwards, if you try bouncing around, they say, gee, then this person doesn't stay in the job very long. But while you're a student, you can bounce around and try different kinds of libraries. It's a great time then. And then you won't be disappointed after you take your first job. And by all means, please, the cover letter and the resume, don't make any mistakes. They call me and holler at me because you have typos. I don't know why they holler at me. I didn't make you write the typos. What kind of a school are you running there, Jim?
For classes, apart from specialized classes like yours, and also I know a lot of the cultural heritage classes are really specialized. I'm taking rare books right now and art documentation. Also, anything digital, people will probably say that a lot, but I mean, it's true. If you can go into a job and say like, oh, I can correct that HTML, like, I mean, that's worth something. That makes you like a valuable person. So database management, dams for lambs, digital asset management, I think it's really valuable not only to be able to say that you can do it, but also just to talk to IT. I mean, to have a conversation with somebody from IT who's coming up from their like basement office to like talk to you, I think that's really valuable and it shows that you're a good member of a team. So digital stuff, that's
Knowledge management, records management, competitive intelligence, all very helpful. And I post the meetings of the Boston chapter of the American Records Management Association. They meet at some of the best restaurants in Boston. And if you're a student, your first meeting is free. After your first meeting, it's $20, but that includes lunch. Great deal. People come back stuffed both ways, their brain and their stomach. They're meeting at Italian restaurant in Park Square. Help me. I can't remember. But there's a lot of food there anyway, but they have a lot of food. And nice people, and records management is getting paid better than librarians. Now, knowledge management, Draper Library, you have your own person who does knowledge management.
Yes, we actually just hired a reference.
I'm sorry?
We just hired a reference.
I would also say we have an excellent like metadata class. Metadata is one of the new big things that we've seen a lot of job postings. I had a professor this summer being like, cataloging is great, but now the metadata is the new cataloging. And I was like, okay. But it's kind of an important niche to understand, so I would recommend that one as well.
Learning management, if you don't have to take it as your elective, I would recommend taking it anyway because it teaches you a lot of valuable skills. Chances are with a master's degree, you'll walk in and you'll be supervising someone, whether it be a student or a paraprofessional. So it's really important to hone those skills.
Also, going along with the digital stuff and data, there's a great class, scientific research data management. There's only like 5 of us in the class right now. But it's a great specialized skill to gain as well, being able to handle and curate lots and lots of data, which you'll find in most institutions. So, yeah, that's a really neat thing. And that has a big application to research libraries and other academic libraries, or any sort of institution that deals with people generating lots and lots of data, corporate sector. Before we open it up to questions, there was 2 things that I had to remember to mention. One was Caitlin, who is our current archivist, is the chair of ATAP, the American Theater Archive Project. And she had given me a short video to play, but I forgot there was a computer set up in this room. So I'll email that out to the listeners, so look for that. Their first meeting is on October 1st. And then the other thing is SLA does Day on the Job, which is where students get paired with a professional and can shadow them for a day. Often they'll go out to lunch and they'll share kind of the nitty-gritty of their job, so you get a realistic picture of what they do. So the deadline to sign up for that is September 21st, which I believe is next Monday.
And if we've already emailed, like, / when might we expect to hear back?
I believe that Wendy Austin is coordinating that, and I believe that she will respond after the 21st, after she's connected students with professionals. So that should be on our blog, more information. Yes.
Just wanted to know how exactly to sign up for that.
Yep, so it's on our blog. It's SLIS. I think we gave our email, but I will forward you the email address of Wendy Austin, who will email directly. She is the student liaison of SLE New England. So, okay, so those are the 2 things I had to remember to mention. But are there any specific questions anyone has for our panelists? Or for SLA at Simmons? Or Jim? Yes.
So then, are there specific classes for people who are interested in working in museum libraries?
Oh my gosh, so many. Yeah. This semester, and other people in this room also can speak to this, I'm taking art documentation, rare books, digital stewardship is a really important class for museums, I think Dams for Lambs also. I think looking at the cultural heritage informatics track, the concentration track, do you know about that? I think those will give you a really good idea of what you could be taking, and you can kind of combine your own, whatever your interests into that track. So definitely just look at the course catalog.
Yeah, I'm also going to be trying to go for the cultural heritage concentration. And there are a lot of things that apply, also preservation management, which will be huge for museums. And that's both
physical and digital. I took that in the spring. And definitely digital stewardship. And the informatics classes as well. So, so those things will certainly touch on museum libraries.
I would also say archives classes.
Yeah.
In terms of knowing how to create finding aids, just also knowing the vocabulary. If somebody is saying something about a finding aid, you should know what that is. I'm trying to think of other words, but there are so many. And then also, I would check out different museums in the area and just to see if they offer internships, like the MFA does, Natural History Museum, Aquarium. I'm not super sure about that, but maybe just check out the museums because like Jim said, work experience is probably the most important, I would say.
Louisville, Stuart Gardner, we have a lot of options, Museum of Science, all of these things. Yeah. And even if things don't seem to be posted, just maybe and with your resume, you never know, really. A lot of things seem to happen on the fly. So. Other questions?
While there's applause, those cupcakes were delicious, thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
So, if like any library can be a special library, what makes a special library? Like what makes it special?
It's kind of an accident. John Gardner Dana was the business reference librarian at the Newark, New Jersey Public Library. And in 1909, he and 49 other people went before the executive committee of the American Library Association asking to be a division of ALA. And they said no. So they formed their own association, not public, not academic, not school, special. He was uncomfortable with the term special as well, but it's the only thing they could think of, as opposed to saying not academic, not school, not public, us. So special, that's how it's the special tag got stuck on Special Libraries Association and special librarians.
A lot of the not public, not academic libraries would include military, prison, theological, corporate, law, medical, pharmacology, music.
Some of them,
all of these other
but then, yeah, so it's kind of,
Engineering.
yeah, weird, like catch-all, because sometimes
It's
like
a
obviously
catch-all.
medical libraries have their own like organization, and so does music libraries, but they're still kind of under the umbrella, but not, so it's.
Industry, pharmaceutical,
Pharmaceutical.
newspaper,
Newspaper, that's a good one. Baseball,
basketball.
tennis.
I think it's confusing because as Jim said, 25% of the members are academic, but typically those academic librarians are a very specialized academic library. So there's a lot of business school libraries, law school libraries, medical school libraries. So they fall both kind of under academic but special because it's a specialized kind of subject matter that they're working with.
The biggest word is probably specialized. If you're in a medical library, you're just going to be in a medical library. If you're in a cookbook library, you're just going to be in a cookbook library. So it's not like a public library where people are coming in with all kinds of different requests.
That doesn't mean people from the outside public won't come in. 'Cause I worked in a law library, and now I work in medical and pharmaceutical, and the medical pharmaceutical is part of the college, but I still get phone calls from people where they're just like, oh, you're a library, so you automatically must have a children's collection. Do you have this book? No.
A medical children's collection.
It would be very, I think it would be really interesting.
There is a really cool, which I actually learned about at the SLA conference. There's a really cool library in Quebec, and it's got graphic novels of medical stories. So people going through illnesses will then write a graphic novel about what it's like to go through that illness. It's actually very helpful. Maybe not geared specifically towards kids, but it can help kids understand what's going on with a family member or a loved one, and it helps the students as well because they can understand and empathize. I had never heard of it before. Again, a random panel, unique, different, special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it speaks to if you have a specialized skill or a specialized interest and you're like, oh, but I'm going to work in a library, I could never do that. That's not true. There are libraries that have every kind of material, and I think that's what makes special libraries special, is that there are all kinds.
What if you wanted to go into like nonprofit? How would I approach that? I know one of our panelists is working in nonprofit now, so how did that happen? You said it was kind of a fluke, I think?
Yeah, and I mean, they're not a small nonprofit by any means. They're definitely like they're more of an engineering and research development company. But they just happen to be not-for-profit. They were a part of MIT beginning of their career, and then they divested for reasons that are relatively scandalous. So they helped make technology that killed a lot of people in Vietnam. And so the students at MIT wanted to divest from the paper. So that happened. But I just saw it through the job line. That's how I saw the position. But I don't think it's as much of a nonprofit culture as I think a lot of other places are.
Do you know if there are any classes here that might be more focused on nonprofits?
I think with nonprofits, what you will probably be looking for, and I'm not the expert on this, but is positions that don't use the word librarian, that use the word either information professional, analyst, research person, data, statistics, like those kinds of things. There are a lot of positions that don't have the word librarian in them at all, but they're still information professional positions, and you still use the research skills. So for nonprofits, I don't know a lot about job searching, but I think just going to the websites and keeping your ears open. I mean, there are nonprofits happening like all the time. There's still new ones happening. So as far as classes, I don't think there's any specific.
There was a course in the School of Management that our students would take, but now that the school is going through a transition, I'm not sure that that course would be available, but you can look through the list of, and you can take up to 2 courses or up to 6 credits on campus at the graduate level towards your MS in Library and Information Science, so you could look through their curriculum.
Okay. I'll see what I can find.
Another thing that I thought of is like prospect research. So that is something you might, I don't know if there is like a specific organization around prospect research, but a lot of SLA members do specific, like looking for donors and things like that. So that's another way into looking on.
And in terms of job searching for nonprofits, Idealist is also a really good website to use if you haven't used it before. And there's some crossover. I've seen some like information professional positions on Idealist, and they are like much more specifically for nonprofit.
I wonder also if it would be like a corporate or management class or database class to help with that, because I mean those are skills that you can apply anywhere, not just in the library.
I'm
So
taking database, I'm taking
Yeah.
corporate, and what was the third one you just said?
management.
Okay. And I'm taking like some sort of management course.
Yeah.
I'll just keep looking from there, I guess. Thank you.
Any other questions? It's almost 12:45, so I know if people have class at 1, probably be a good time to head over. But if there are no other questions, thank you for coming. Yes?
We can, I think some of us have left, but we'll stick around a little bit.
Yeah.